Hey, real estate agents, welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. How are you doing, Joey?
I'm doing pretty good, Jeff. How are you?
Doing awesome. We're the Real Estate Marketing Maniacs.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, and we have a fantastic guest with us, actually from Florida, but she's in Ohio right now, and the background is amazing because I haven't been outside for so long. We got Michele Bellisari with us here. Realtor with RE/MAX Services in Boca Raton, Florida, and founder of SoBoca.com and Florida Lifestyle Guide. Thanks for joining us, Michele.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be with you today from beautiful Columbus, Ohio. This is not a virtual backdrop. This is actually my family's backyard here in Ohio. It's gorgeous. And we came up for a few days, so I'm so happy to be on your show.
Thank you. Yeah, it looks nice. And I guess we'll go ahead and say this. You know, Michele is going to be our guest presenter on the webinar for Security Title Agency on July 8th. That's Wednesday, July 8th. We're going to release that, or it's going to be going out there at 10 a.m. So make sure. I think Joey just put up a graphic there.
Oh,
so
very nice. Fancy.
All right. And Michele is going to share with agents and loan officers here in the Valley and whoever else wants to obviously tune in about using Instagram in your business. And she is doing an amazing job with her own Instagram. So thank you so much for sharing that and being willing to be a guest on the webinar as well.
Absolutely. I think it's important to share some tips and strategies. As I like to say, engage at any age. I'm a midlife mom of millennials, and you know, it's a little scary out there in the social media world or even getting started. And I somewhat embraced it with a few different platforms like Snapchat and segued into Instagram. And what I also didn't tell you is I'm doing TikTok now. So
Really?
it all somewhat blends together.
Nice.
Ha-ha. So yeah.
I'll have to check that out. Are you doing some dancing on TikTok?
I have a dance on TikTok. My millennial coached me, and you know, no shame in my game. I'd had a glass of wine or two, and she's like, "Come on, Mom, let's do TikTok dance." And I said, "I've been wanting to do this." So, you know, I have a little talent when it comes to dancing. So she showed me a good TikTok dance, and I did it. But that's not my number one performing TikTok. Believe it or not, it was something that I did right when the quarantine started. And my handle over there is at Boca Raton Realtor. See, I learned something from Instagram that I didn't do back when I first got on there, which I kind of grabbed something that tied into my niche, Boca Raton Realtor. So there you go.
There we
Got
go. Smart.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, some of the ones I've seen, I haven't watched a lot of them, but I'll have to jump on there and watch them. But it looks like several of them have had a few glasses of wine.
Yeah, I only had that the first time. But honestly, what I try and do with all of my channels is a little bit of education. I'm a firm believer that educating the consumer and educating other real estate agents. So this is about Instagram today, and I like to educate agents on how to leverage Instagram in their business. It's a free platform. We know there are over 500 million people that jump on there daily. 75% of businesses are on there. Real estate agents, you need to be on there. And I'm not even going to go into all of the other boring stuff that they've heard. They know they need to be on these platforms. And the bottom line is, you don't have to spend a lot of time doing this. You can really leverage your time properly and batch what you're doing to get your message out. And if that's the number one question I get from agents all the time, which it is, then I'm going to teach them how to put together a content calendar and teach themselves how to quickly post information that is informative and is a resource to the consumer and also other agents.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear that. Why don't you first, I guess, introduce like how long you've been in real estate or what got you into the business altogether?
So I've been in real estate since 2003. I lived in Boca since I was about 15. My background is sales and marketing, 2 Fortune 500 companies selling brands like Listerine, Benadryl, Lubriderm, Schick razors, that sort of thing. And I had always loved interior design. I was going to do that and switch my major at the University of Florida to advertising. And so sales is kind of in my blood. And I thought, well, real estate would really make sense for me. So I got into it in 2003. And I went through the housing market crisis then. And I figured, well, if I can get through that, I can get through pretty much anything. And decided in 2012 to focus on listing niches in particular versus always working with buyers. That's just a personal thing for me. So I work with probate, seniors that downsize, and divorce as a part of my real estate business. Then I do general real estate. Most of my business is referral based. I do get business from all of my social media channels. There isn't one that I would say, oh, I get all my business from. I get them from Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I'm a big believer in Facebook groups. I'm a big believer in connecting on Instagram with other agents. I'm in a second home market, destination market, and now we want to get the heck out of Northeast market and come to Florida. So I've been positioning myself to be a go-to agent for my folks up in the Northeast in particular right now.
Got it. Have you seen a lot of New Yorkers coming down?
Yeah, for sure. We're seeing, and we have a great relationship with New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Philly. I mean, Florida, they go back and forth, and I think what I'm seeing is people have said, okay, that 10-year plan is out the window now. So let's figure out what we want to do. We're working from home now. We're probably going to be working from home for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And even when maybe we don't have to exclusively work from home, it's going to be a hybrid of maybe coming to the office and then working from home. I need a bigger house. I need a different location. Well, I could really move somewhere that's close to the beach, on the beach, near the beach. I think people have really sat back and thought about their lifestyle and maybe not so much downsizing, but simplifying more and then going, I don't want to wait to make some of these decisions about my housing.
Yeah. Totally get it. So share with us, I guess, how has Instagram now been impactful in that business as you've been growing your brand, So Boca and all that too?
So I actually have two accounts. I have So Boca. It's at So Boca, S3O's Boca. That is my lifestyle brand where I talk about all things Boca Raton, Delray Beach, Boynton Beach, Palm Beach, the Palm Beaches, South Florida. And I'm actually segueing more content to destination Florida, basically, because we're seeing a lot of people wanting to road trip and travel. And so I wanted to accommodate that. And I do have a real estate component on there that talks about why Florida is a great place to live. Look, we have no state income tax. It's beautiful weather most of the year. Yes, it's a little hot in the summer, but let's face it, we don't have snow. We don't have any of the winter issues that other people have. We really just have a great lifestyle here. So I'm segueing a lot of content now to incorporate the Boca lifestyle with the Florida lifestyle and the beach lifestyle. My other Instagram account is more exclusively my real estate account at the Michele B. That's where I showcase my properties. I showcase tips for homeowners, home sellers, buyers. I then also showcase tips and information for real estate agents. Why do I do that? If you're in a second home market and you are open to referrals, like out in Arizona, California, Nevada, states that have big relocation scenarios, start adding some content directed to other agents. One, they'll get to know you, like you, and trust you and go, wow, she actually knows what the heck she's talking about. But two, I think it's a great way to collaborate the two pieces together, the consumer side and then the realtor side, right? Because you don't know who's going to come out and see you first. Could it be a consumer that says, oh, I saw you on Instagram, I love your stuff, or on YouTube or on Facebook, whatever it is that is your jam right now. I feel like the more you can be a resource to both real estate agents and consumers, the better. And I've definitely gotten referrals from Instagram.
Wow. That's a great idea. You don't hear a lot of agents talk about that. They're so consumer focused, right? That they don't think about, well, if I build a good enough network of real estate professionals who know that I'm here to help, anyone they need to refer. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Well, let me also share a quick story with you. Agent 2021, Gary V's event that he had in Miami for a couple of years. So I went to that in 2019. Here's what was interesting about that. I met a lot of people there, but I ended up meeting Gary's sister, Liz, and we stayed connected here on Instagram, not on Facebook, not on YouTube, on Instagram. When she had a referral for the Palm Beach County area, she reached out to a friend of ours, a mutual friend, and said, "Are you on that coast?" And she said, "No, but so-and-so's on that coast." She goes, "Great, I follow her. Let's talk." She called me. She goes, "I have a referral for you." Like bing, bang, boom. And
Oh,
we
that's
got
great.
that done during the pandemic, believe it or not.
Wow.
So
Really?
when I say, oh yeah, we got the whole thing done. It was listed in November, went under contract in January. And, from there on out, we were like, okay, let's do this. And not only have I made an amazing friend with Liz, she was a great person as a referral partner, just to bounce ideas off of and vice versa. And it was fantastic because they were relocating to New Jersey. So she was their agent there. So we had to really work together to get that whole transaction done, and it closed in March. So you can think about that time frame. But that's the power of Instagram.
Oh,
That's the power
great.
of Instagram.
That's
right there.
awesome. That's awesome. And I think I heard you say once too before that once you started talking more about the lifestyle and about the area, you saw even more business at that point, or the business change a little bit. Is that right?
Yeah, because I don't know. It's me. And again, this is probably what I have found over the years with content is that you can talk about real estate, but you don't have to talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
So if you talk about lifestyle, you talk about the parks in your city, you talk about the beaches, you talk about restaurants. I just did a collaboration with Soboka with Firehouse Subs, for example. That's the other thing that's come out of doing Instagram. I'm not just doing real estate, I'm actually doing collaborations with other companies and businesses. Because of my social media presence, not just Instagram, I started doing collaborations with homes.com. So there are things that come out of you not always talking about real estate, but actually talking about content and things about your city, your town, your state, your county, and being passionate about it. Like, don't do it listen, talking about coffee shops is not your jam, don't do it. But maybe you like to thrift store shop, which I love to, or maybe pizza's your thing, or maybe you have a hobby. Talk about whatever your passion is. And then when you go on Instagram, start connecting with like-minded people in your hobby. Research the hashtags. Then start researching the people who are following those hashtags. Okay, now research those people following those hashtags in your community and start building your following. And the one thing I will say is stop worrying about how many followers you are, because it's all about engagement. So if you have 200 really great engaged followers, that's the jam. It's nice to get to 10,000. I'm almost there. But that's taken some time. That just didn't happen overnight. And I can look at accounts and go, oh yeah, fake followers. You can tell, if they've got 10,000 followers and every post has 10 likes, come on, what's going on here? Or they're not working their account. It takes a little work. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, set it and forget it. There's some strategies that you need to do daily, connecting daily with businesses and people in your sphere, engaging with them daily, just like anything. One of the things that I do love about Instagram is the power of the direct message. There's so many things that you can do on Instagram, from stories to IGTV to your posts. It's a very robust platform. But what I find to be the gold is really being able to connect either via video or a voice message on the DM with someone. And just saying, hey, thanks for following me. Or I really like your account. I just started to follow you. Let people know that you're following them, and you'll find that you'll get the growth that you're looking for. And it's a free platform. And I think that's the number one thing that people forget. They're buying leads, and I understand that. But with money being really tight right now, with COVID and some of the scenarios that have gone on in the last few months, you've got to reevaluate, how are you finding your leads? And is that sustainable? How much can you actually keep spending on these things and try and get the same results? I think there's a lot of opportunity to just learn these platforms and not say, oh, I'm too old or I don't get it. Fine. Find someone who can help you get it. You know, you can reach out to me. You can look at YouTube. You can follow so many people to figure out how to get that presence out there. And here's the beauty of this. If you play around on Instagram, you can repurpose your videos. And I repurpose all the time. I take YouTube videos, I put them on InShot, I rework them so they are an IGTV, and there you go, off and running. I've done one piece of content, I'm just like you guys do. You can do a video, turn it into a podcast, turn it into posts, turn it into a blog post. There you go.
Oh, that's cool.
Good
I know
stuff.
you're going to cover a lot more of that too on the webinar, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, I had a question for you, Michelle. How do you take
good.
the two accounts and tie them together? So you got your real estate focused one, and then you've got your lifestyle focused one. Do you tie those together somehow? Do you co-market them?
So it's so funny you should ask me that. For quite some time, I kept them separate.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a personal choice. Now, occasionally on Soboka, I have started in the last few months dropping the fact that, by the way, I'm a real estate agent with Remax. And if you want to know more about real estate, you can jump on over to my other account. I do cross-pollinate them in the bios. And I certainly cross-pollinate them on the Soboka blog now. So there's a full-on real estate section. And I have pop-ups for relocation and things like that on there now. But it took me a while to kind of go, do I want to keep them separate?
Mm-hmm.
And yet on my real estate one, I was talking lifestyle frequently.
Yeah.
And now I will even say at them, Michelle B, hey guys, have you followed at Soboka? I've got some really interesting things. Here's my latest July 4th blog post. By the way, it's canceled. So if you're listening or watching this after the fact, I know y'all will get that, but we have beaches down here, and the beaches are going to be closed again for the 4th of July weekend. So I'm like, well, but several cities are doing fireworks. You just can't go to them.
Uh-huh.
You can watch them from your house. There's lots of virtual events. There's sandcastle events. So I kind of went in and went, okay, what the heck? That's not what I really want to say. What the heck is happening? Because let's face it, my number one performing blog post of all time is always the July 4th one. And of course, I'm like, oh crap. So I had to readjust it, and it's still doing okay. But when people are looking for fireworks, so that's another little thing. You can add that kind of stuff onto your Instagram account. Be the go-to. I don't like the mayor of your town, but be the go-to. Have fun with it.
Huh.
Got it.
So do you wish that you did that sooner, or?
No, I think timing's everything.
Yeah. All right.
I wanted to really build up that Soboka brand
Sure.
on its own. And I didn't want to muddy it with real estate, honestly, because I just felt like it's its own brand and it's trademarked. And
Sure.
I'm like, But now it's, on YouTube, you can see a lot more of it. Like I was across the board on all my channels. I was just very cautious about, and now I'm like, Soboka, baby.
No, I like it. It's catchy.
Yeah.
Very catchy.
It rolls off your tongue. Soboka.
So,
And if you want to get snarky about it, it's like, oh my God, that's Soboka. That's really
that's where it came from, right?
Yeah.
pretty much.
It has to include the eye roll too.
It can include the eye roll, or really. And then the fun side is like, I like pink and sparkly, and that's, and people go, oh my God, Soboka's here. I'm like, yeah, that's about right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, you mentioned, get on there every day.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's, and there maybe isn't a magic number, but is there a number of posts that somebody you think should be doing per day, or when does it get too much, or what are your thoughts on Instagram?
Yeah. So I kind of feel like, do what you feel you can commit to. Do what you feel you can commit to. It's not your number one priority. Let's face it. We sell real estate.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes us our money, honey. And that's the big money. So I think it's a compliment to what we do. And yes, it will generate leads and referrals for you, but you don't want it to overrun your life. So I suggest, this is just for me, I don't want to post every day. So I post a few times a week. You can go on and see. And I'm also managing 2 accounts. So if you average it out, I'm probably posting 5 to 6 times a week on the grids. I'm doing stories every day because I find those super easy to do. I'm just one of those folks it's super comfortable for me, where it doesn't matter where the heck I am. I'm like, hey, this is where I am and this is what I'm doing. You know, I was walking here because the temperature was actually 75 degrees. At home it's 99, and I'm like, I'm not walking outside, so I'm walking. And I'm like, hey guys, at the Michele B, here's some tips if you are a first-time home buyer. 1, get your credit check. 2, know what you have for down payment. 3, did you know you can get gifting? I did 3 little sets of those. Boom, bang, boom. I think it took me 10 minutes. Put them out there, and then I saved them to a highlight, because you can save your stories to a highlight, which is the circle under your bio. They're there forever. And then you can share them other places, Twitter, Facebook, download it, use it wherever you want. So I kind of feel like I like to do at least 5 to 6 stories a day on each feed, you know, and it really shouldn't take anybody that long. Don't go crazy. You can use up to 10 hashtags in those stories. I maybe use 3. Like, I'm so over, like, you have to do this. Yeah, no, this is what you want to do. Your goal is to stay in front of people. So if you do 3 to 5, let's say, stories a day, you're always going to stay in front of people because you'll be at the top of everybody's feed. But don't just post to post. Like, have some good info. Or make it fun. I mean, boomerangs are great. You know, I love to do the boomerangs. But, you know, I think there's some great opportunity on Soboka. What I'm starting to do is take some of these great, beautiful ocean shots of where I have properties that I'm going to have hit the market and beach stuff. And I'm sharing that more and more. But one of the reasons I'm doing that is because I'm on TikTok. And those seem to perform pretty well on TikTok. So I'm taking, you know, say vertical video. And even if you take horizontal, just go to InShot and, you know, fix it. So it's either an IGTV, a story, or TikTok. And I do it on TikTok with their trending music. Now, I'm going to caution everybody right now on one thing. And this is just me. I love TikTok, by the way. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It reminds me of Snapchat. There are a lot of people my age, I'm in my 50s, on TikTok. There are over 250 million people over the age of 50 on Instagram. So don't give me this crap that you're too old to be on these channels. Forget the demographics. Focus on your tribe, which is, if you're in your 50s, that's your, you know, go for it, right? Build your own community of the people that you are going to connect with, that are going to like your brand, and that's probably who you're going to be working with. Now, caveat, I'm millennial. So guess what? Their friends are hiring me to find them homes. And I was a first-time home buyer specialist at some point. TikTok's a great platform if you want to educate millennials on buying homes. Education is going to be a big focus of TikTok. I think it's a big focus of Instagram as well. So I'm looking at how I'm putting these pieces together. But here's my cautionary piece. I like everything, but some of the lyrics to some of the music are whatever. I'm cool with it, but I think if you're going to be putting a condo or somebody's property out there, you got to kind of be a little cautious about that. The music itself is fun. Just know what you're posting.
Yeah.
How do I know that? Because I put something up there one day and one of my girls goes, Mom, that song. I'm like, what? It's a great song. She goes, yeah, might want to rethink that. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So that's just for me. Somebody else might be totally different. I'm the queen of the F-bomb.
On TikTok, so on TikTok, do you know what music's playing when you're dancing to it, or?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, you choose it. Yeah, you choose it. But I'm just saying, like, if you're doing some real estate stuff, and especially if it's connected to a property, just be careful.
Yeah.
Because go check. I'm starting to check the lyrics I got, and I go, no, don't want. Because I like it all.
That's
so anyways, just a few thoughts on that. But again, you can cross-pollinate that and repurpose a TikTok right onto Instagram stories. Or you could turn it into a post video or an IGTV.
That's
so
cool.
much you can do.
That's really cool. Now, I looked at both of your Instagram accounts, and you've got it's very bright and white and clean. How important is like picking that kind of color scheme and kind of that look? Because I've seen others, it just seems like everything's jumbled up, right?
Like somebody threw up on their Instagram.
Yeah, kind of.
I personally like white space
Mhm.
for when I'm looking at accounts. So when I was looking at accounts, it's like, I like how they had their grid. It's not as important, I think, as it used to be, but for me personally, I like balance. It's like, I like 2 tables on the end, like a table on each end of my sofa kind of thing. I like balance. So I think color is important too, in the sense that if you have brand colors, and be on brand with your Instagram with your colors. And you can look at different accounts. I think you had Karen Carr on. Look at Karen. She's on brand with her colors. My colors are very Lily Pulitzer, very Florida, yellows, pinks, oranges, blues, because I have a lot of beach water, whatever. And it just makes me happy, you know? However, there are lots of different ways that you can do your grid. And like you can certainly buy, what do they call, Lightroom filters, so everything kind of has the same filter on it. You can get those from Fiverr. You can get those from Etsy. I know my daughter's a professional photographer. She uses them for certain things, and you can just presets for them. I think it really just depends on who's following you. They're either going to like it or not. But I think you're right. I think sometimes you just see mishmash of stuff, and I don't think people are constantly going to Instagram to see how much you sold.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, again, you're going to get into more of this on the webinar, but I noticed on your the Michele B Instagram, you've got some like Insta tips or 30 Instagram tips. Are those for agents to kind of see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I figured they were, so they can just go straight there. And
Absolutely.
I think it's the Michele with 1 L.
Yep.
And then BEE.
Yep. Exactly. Okay. And I did that purposely because I just felt like if I was going to be teaching and speaking on Instagram, it would be nice for agents to at least see some stuff. And it's really, whether you're an agent or you are an entrepreneur, I mean, you can kind of read through the lines on what I'm talking about. So whether you are an agent or maybe you're a business owner listening to this podcast, take these tips and just have fun with them and use them. And, I think one of the things that we really also learned in the past few months is that don't freaking worry about your brand when certain things are happening. Sometimes you have to be a human, and we saw that with Black Lives Matter. And, you have to take that seriously with your social media accounts, you know?
Absolutely. Looks like Joey, if you're watching the podcast here, Joey's sharing the one of your accounts right now. So
yeah, at the Michele B.
Yep. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. I've had a lot of fun with it. It is a little bit of work, and yes, you can automate your posts through Planoly. And that's fine to do that, by the way, but just have a story with what you're posting. I look at these as micro blogs. So if you click on most of these posts, there's a story to them. And actually, one of the things that I need to do is take them all and put them on my blog, because they're actually micro blogs. But I have a separate account called sipsocialsell.com. And that is where I really house like my Instagram videos, I have a little Instagram training. I have blog posts about real estate there. The real estate that I have on Soboka is really for the consumer, and it's very light.
Got it.
The other Sip Social Sell is really for the agents, along with my podcast. It was called the Real Estate Influencer Buzz. It was such a mouthful. I finally got rid of the name, and now it's called In the Hive with Michele B.
Oh,
and
cool.
I talk about all these marketing things that we can do, and most of it's all free.
Okay. All right.
Lots of Instagram
I know you
stuff
mentioned
on there
you do offer like one-to-one coaching, and then I think you also offer a kind of a starter, like an Instagram beginner type thing, right?
Yeah, it's Instagram 101. What I find, and I think this came up when I spoke at a couple of RE/MAX conferences. I was a speaker at Inman last year and a few other things. And what I really realized was I've been doing this a long time. And most agents just want to know, how do I start? Like, I just want the basics. Like, how do I do my bio? How do I come up with a name? What's my handle? What hashtag should I use? That kind of stuff. So I came up with this little program. It's $9.99. It's ridiculous. But it has all that stuff. And it's like kind of almost like done for you. And then that way, if they want to continue pursuing it, they can. They should have like enough to go with that they can do that. So, and then this is my Soboco feed. And you can kind of see I had a few local interviews that I put up there, which I did during COVID because I interviewed a PR firm and I also interviewed a bankruptcy attorney locally.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
You said $9.99?
Yeah, it's like
okay.
cheap. The private coaching's not as cheap, but this is like, I'm like, look, you could go on YouTube and find all this stuff, but I'm like, let me put everything together.
Yeah.
And this way you've got over 80 content ideas. You've got a calendar. I've already done it for you. And,
that's cool.
And then if you want 30 minutes or an hour, that's fine. That's a different thing. That's almost like a consulting branding piece. But I'm telling you, I've had more fun with Instagram and it's opened up so many doors for me. And I think that's been great. And it's generated business for me.
Yeah. Well, your posts make me want to go to the beach.
Wait until after July 4th.
Yeah.
And wear a mask.
Yeah. Please social distance.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I think, is there anything else you want to share with the agents before? I know you're going to be covering a lot more later, but I
would just say guys, have fun with these platforms. It will turn into business. Have a plan, be strategic, know what kind of content you're going to put out there, and be consistent. I think that's like with anything though, right? Yep. And stay healthy and safe right now.
That's great advice. That's great advice. Well, we have just a couple more questions for you that we call getting in the ring. Are you okay with that?
Oh boy.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's do it.
And we want to give a big shout out also to Security Title Agency and Fidelity National Home Warranty for sponsoring the show. Thank you guys so much. All right, Michelle, let's get in the ring.
All righty.
What do you think the reason is that many agents are not successful?
Not successful in their real estate business?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of competition. And I think when agents throw a big net versus finding a niche or two to focus on, whether it's a buyer niche or seller niche, I think it can become very overwhelming. It seems to be one of the things that I see come up frequently. How do I get leads? How do I stand apart? How do I set myself apart? Well, there's 33,000 agents in South Florida for the most part. So you've got to figure out what's your groove, what's your jam, how to be consistent and not get burnt out. You can't be running around with buyers 24/7 and you can't be on 24/7. That's coming from a mom perspective. And someone who did that, stay in your lane, focus on what you love, learn how to list, and I really, truly believe you'll be successful.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah, that's great advice.
This one you might have already answered this one, but what's your favorite mobile app right now? And it doesn't have to be Instagram necessarily.
Oh, my favorite mobile app?
TikTok.
Oh, God. No, those are social media apps. Let me think. Mobile app? Oh, my God. I don't know. I have so many of them. I'm a true Aries. Do you know how many apps I have on my phone?
Give us 3.
I like InShot because I can do my little videos on the go. Splice is the same kind of thing. And all right, so the health app right now, because I have got to get this COVID weight off. So I'm tracking my steps.
Got it. No, that's a good one. How about
and Spotify? I love Spotify.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
that's a good one too.
See, I told you I was an Aries. I can't.
There we go. How about a book recommendation?
For business or fun?
Either.
Oh gosh. Well, I kind of decided to get off the business thing for a while. Honestly, I know this sounds ridiculous. Rob Lowe has this great book called Stories I Only Tell My Friends, and he came out with it like a few years ago. I got it on Audible, which is another app I like. I'll tell you what, if you want to hear great stories about his career, the Brad Packs, I just aged myself, Hollywood, all that kind of stuff, his sobriety track, which I really enjoyed. I've always been a supporter of sober people in my life. And it's really it's good. I mean, I just can't listen to business stuff all the time. I do like Gary Vee. I don't like most of the popular books that I think that are out right now. I just think it's just a rehash of the same stuff that we know. So nothing really has jumped out at me of late, but I'm kind of trying to listen to more fun stuff.
All right.
Awesome.
And I guess I'll ask you one final question. If so, once this whole virus thing settles down, and I know you already live in paradise, but if once it's done, do you have a spot that you're hoping to go vacation to?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if there's one thing to take away, I can say is don't put off things, because I think we've really seen that sometimes you may not get to do what you want to do. We were very fortunate to be able to travel to Italy 2 years in a row for weddings, believe it or not. My oldest daughter has amazing family friends that invited us. And when I tell you we went as a family, I would like to go back to Europe. I found it to be very kind of life-changing in a way, because they're not at this frenetic pace that we tend to be here. It was relaxing. It's just fantastic. So I really enjoy Italy. I like Italy a lot, actually, and kind of surprised about that. Not that I liked it, but that I just would like to go. That's one place I'd like to continue to go back and just explore.
Yeah.
So I would say Europe, and right now that's not going to be an option, probably in a little while, but I enjoyed that.
No, that's
a
great.
lot. Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And we really appreciate you taking time out of your day there in Ohio visiting family. So
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. And you guys have a great show.
yeah, we appreciate it. We're 200 and some episodes, so that's
awesome.
Still going strong. So
That's fantastic.
Well, I tell you what, we will we'll make sure that people see this and hear it, and hopefully we can get as many of them to jump on the webinar for even more information about Instagram. So
yes.
Thank you so much, Michelle. We truly appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. Okay, agents, until next time, we will see you later.
Yes,
Bye.
just a reminder really quick. July 8th is the webinar, so it's at 10 a.m. and we will make sure to have the security title reps send out the information, and you guys get signed up right away. All right, now it's time to go, Jeff.
Thank you, Joey.
You're welcome.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Later.